Welcome back to Cord Cutting today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting right now, including Roku adding more video ads to its home screen. These are new ads that we haven't had before. Comcast is now charging over $45 a month for fees to RSNs and local television stations. And Paramount may have a new CEO by the time you watch this and may soon lose its contract with Spectrum. We'll tell you what's happening with all these and more. First though, if you're new here, you can find a link to each story I talk about in the show notes and in the first pinned comment. If you like what we do here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, let YouTube know. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know to recommend our videos to more people. With that said, let's dive into it. Roku will be adding new home screen videos. Now, at the start, these will be just video ads in the existing ad blocks. This comes from Roku's earnings call last week, where Roku came out and said that they are looking at adding new video ads to its home screen. Roku CEO Anthony Wood said, when asked about new revenue ways and content, we're going to add video to that ad, so that this will be the first video ad in that we would add to the home screen. I hope I read that right. Apologies. But in short, Roku's looking at ways to bring revenue without cramming more ads. Video ads bring in a whole lot more revenue than traditional banner ads. So Roku's looking to put some video ads into the traditional banner placements. Though he adds that we're also testing other types of video ad units, looking at other experiences we can add to the home screen. That would be where we could innovate more video advertising. I'm not sure if you meant integrate or innovate. I'm not sure on that. So that's something that we're looking at. In short here, Roku is dealing with the same problems most companies are right now. Weak ad market. Well, now people always say, Luke, what do you mean by that? Because I see ads. Well, that means that there are ads, but people are paying less for ads right now. There's more places than ever to put ads. You think Netflix, Disney Plus, all these streaming services have added ad-supported platforms that spread it out. Growth of ads-supported streaming services like the Roku channel, Tubi, Pluto TV, and others have increased demand. Plus, there's traditional ad places, banner ads on websites like Cord Cutters News and on YouTube and other places. Because there's so many places to advertise, it's driven down the cost of ads because there's a lot of people bidding for them to put their ads on their services. That, I think, will continue for a while. A lot of companies, including Amazon and Google, have switched over to video ads to try to draw attention to that and get ad revenue with it. We'll have to keep a very close eye on this, but in short, Roku is looking at ways to get more ad revenue, and video ads are probably going to be it. When these will happen, exactly what they will look like is unknown. What these other possible advertising video spots are is still unknown too, so we don't know what that's going to look like either. But what we do know, video ads are coming. Leave me a comment, let me know. Does that bother you? I think for most people this won't bother them. For some people it really will, understandably. So check that out. Link in the show notes if you want to read the full quote from Anthony Wood on that. If you are a Comcast customer, in some markets they're charging as much as $45.45 a month just for local ABC, NBC, Fox, and CBS stations, along with your local RSN. Now these are the fees that I hate the most because they're ones that you can't avoid. Cable TV companies advertise TV packages with locals and RSNs included, but then they tack additional fees on it for that, which you can't avoid. You can't just say, I don't want those. For most cases, there are some where you're starting to be able to do that. But with this, you're paying for a lot of fees. Now, we got a new rate card that took effect on April 1st of this month of 2024 for the San Francisco market. And in that market, it's $26.70 a month for local TV stations. These are your local ABC, etc. stations, and $18.75 a month for your local RSN. When you put that all together, it's $45.45 or $545.40 a year in additional fees not included in the advertised price. Now, I do get that they do have these prices way down and asterisks and contracts, and they're listed, but you have to go look for them. That big price they put on advertisements with the little asterisk next to it, that's the price that I think a lot of people expected to pay. But now, I mean, there's other fees that you still have to tack on top of that additional $45 there. That includes a $9.99 a month fee for NFL Red Zone, HD technology fee, This one is always well loved by people. $9.95 a month. Want a DVR? That'll be a fee. If you want additional storage or premium DVR is $20 a month. 150 hours of storage is $10 a month. Fees go on. And this is why you can see many cable TV bills end up being significantly higher than what people expect. I think I am not the only one that's been impacted by that in the past when I had cable television. Comcast is not the only one that does this. It's news right now about them because we just got a copy of their rate card. Be careful. Always remember, advertised fees aren't necessarily, or advertised prices are not necessarily the prices you pay. There are pushes to force cable TV companies to fully list out all their fees in the advertised price. That's not come to reality quite yet. All right, let's keep moving along. Now, this is kind of one of those tough things. I post these videos about 7 a.m. on Monday through Friday, and I record them the night before so that they're ready the next day. Well, there's some news that may have happened by the time this has gone live, and that reportedly Paramount's board is considering firing its CEO. Now, some people reported that he will actually step down, which will kind of be semantics right now. A lot of board members have reportedly desired to get rid of him. First report by the Wall Street Journal that the CEO will be removed. Later, CNBC has come out and said that their sources have said that he'll be gone Monday morning. Now, we'll have to see how this plays out. Paramount's earnings call is Monday. They have a lot happening this week. There is a potential merger with Skydance Media, which is a production company they've had a lot of deals with. That would see Skydance's CEO apparently take over. They also have on Tuesday, they need to strike a deal with Spectrum, Charter Communications cable TV company, to keep their channels there, or they could lose them. And apparently that's part of the holdup with the potential merger. Skydance is seeing what happens with this Spectrum deal. But there is a report from CNBC that Monday morning before the earnings call, Paramount will fire their CEO, or he will resign, or forced out, however you want to word this, and they will not be on the call. Now, I have a real issue with this because their plan reportedly is to create a committee of senior leadership. So no longer will they have a single leader, but a group of people who will work together to lead the company. In a time where you're just about to close a major merger or a sale, if this doesn't happen, other companies like Sony, Apollo Global, and others are reportedly looking at a cash offer to buy Paramount. At a time you're in the middle of deep negotiations with Charter and Spectrum and all this, it seems very weird to ditch your leadership and not replace it with a single leader. Maybe a committee of people work together well. Typically, committees like this, I find, take a lot of time. I've served on boards before for nonprofits, and it takes a while because everybody has an opinion. You have to hear everybody. You have to get everybody together to have a quorum, and you have to vote, and the list goes on and on. As opposed to a CEO who can look at a deal and say, I like that, I don't like that, that meets our goals, that does not meet our goals in line with what the board has told me they want. Just seems like weird timing to go to this model. There must be something more happening here, is what I can think. If there's not, if this is just them trying to get rid of him, this seems like a very bad moment to do it right in the middle of massive negotiations with multiple companies all at once. We'll see how it plays out, but leave me a comment, let me know. What, do you like this idea? Do you not like it? I know he's been very unpopular. Always be careful. Remember Disney, people were excited for a new CEO. That didn't quite work out the way they wanted it to. New CEOs are not necessarily a magic solution to everybody's problems, as sometimes people hope that they would be. So keep that in mind. All right, Comcast and Spectrum. Speaking of trouble time in Spectrum, they have lost 892,000 TV customers and 137,000 internet customers in the first 3 months of 2024. Not a big surprise here on the TV side. It is a little surprising how big the internet losses are. This is the growth of cord cutting 2.0, the people who have now canceled cable television and are still sick with their cable TV provider, and they're ditching their internet service now to go to things like 5G home internet, fiber, Starlink, the list goes on and on. I actually had a friend who ditched cable, he had cable internet, to go to Starlink, and he's much happier with the performance there. So everybody's uses are different, but with this, we are on track to see a lot of losses. Now, Roughly, this works out to be 9,800 TV customers canceling every single day in the first quarter of 2024. If this continues, 3.5 million Comcast internet or television customers and Spectrum television customers combined will cancel. That's a slight jump in 2024 versus 2025. We'll keep a close eye on this, but mark my words, cord cutting 2.0 is very real. A lot of people have laughed at me for years as saying this was a reality. It is a reality. It is happening. We're just seeing the first tip of the iceberg poke out of the water, and I suspect that this is going to get much bigger, much faster. Speaking of cutting costs, Sinclair, and others are doing this too, is no longer producing some local news locally. One great example of this is Greensboro, North Carolina, which now gets its evening news on its ABC 45 News, owned by Sinclair, produced in San Antonio, Texas. The same crew that does the San Antonio Fox News broadcast in the evenings there does the 6 o'clock ABC News in Greensboro, North Carolina, both owned by Sinclair. They just change the graphics behind them and report different news. This allows Sinclair to have one set of anchors, one set of camera crews, and one facility to do this all in, significantly cutting costs. Now, they do have some reporters locally, but the studio show you see is no longer local, no longer there. Increasingly, this is becoming a popular trend as local news organizations look to cut costs and save money. It's cheaper to just have a national desk or a regional desk that does multiple of these broadcasts at once. Look for this trend to continue and become more popular. Roku last Thursday reported its earnings and is continuing to lose money, a lot of it because of the soft ad market, but they have significantly cut that. They've reduced the losses they've seen and added 1.6 million new users to its Roku accounts in the first quarter of 2024. Now, this explains Roku's push into video ads. A lot of people, I think, assume Roku's making a lot of money. They have done very well, but they are facing the same problem a lot of people are. Weak ad market, and Roku is primarily an ad company, makes most of its money through ads. Now, without ads not paying what they used to, they're struggling. Look for that to become a continuous trend there throughout 2024. It's highly expected, even with this being a political year with a lot of political ads, that ad revenue will continue to drop in 2024 as advertisers pull back, look for different ways to reach advertisers. All right, let's keep moving along. Question of the day. If you have a question for me, you want me to answer at the end of one of these videos, leave it in the comments down below and start off with something like a question for Luke, so I know it's something you want me to answer. Today's question comes from David. It says, why is it in most areas there is only one traditional cable TV provider? Is there some sort of non-compete agreement amongst them? Well, it's complicated. Number one, it's very expensive to run a traditional cable TV network. You have to run copper wires to everybody's home or fiber. I know a lot of them are moving that way. And you need your city to sell you a franchise right, the ability to run the wires down their streets and stuff. And you got to be regulated by that city. Because of that high cost, many cable TV providers have traditionally said it is not worth having multiple in one area. They also strike deals with local cities that allow this to happen. In short, they look and say, hey, if I'm going to run miles of this cable, I want to make sure a certain number of people are going to sign up. And that's why things like in major cities get the cable upgrades first, because if they run a mile of that new fiber, they can sometimes hook up dozens, if not hundreds of people on a single mile of cable. If I go into rural America and I run a mile, I may hook up one or two people. Now, if I have multiple of those networks in one area, now I'm dividing that between multiple ones, again, driving down the amount of revenue for the high cost of physically running physical wires. Now, with streaming, it's a lot easier, right? People have wireless fiber, cable, and other internet options. I don't have to worry about running that. I just supply the service. I don't need to supply the cable and the hardware locally. That's why we're seeing things like Spectrum move their customers to promote its new streaming version of its cable TV packages instead of promoting its traditional packages. It allows them to in a much cheaper way deliver the service. So that's the real reason. It's just expensive to run copper cable to everybody's home and find a way to justify that. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy Monday. I know we talked about some stories like Paramount that has some news that could happen today. Make sure to watch cordcuttersnews.com. Head over there, check out our stories. We'll have breaking news there, and I'll cover it tomorrow once we learn more. And who knows, maybe I'll do a breaking news today. If something really big breaks, I'll jump back here with an update. That's it for today. Take care. Be safe. Have a fantastic day, everybody.